Hey everybody, just a quick video about planning for the future. And sorry for the echo, for the audio quality is not going to be the best since it's my cell phone, but the visuals that we have in our office here up in Beloit is going to show you why this is the best way to do it, and you'll see in a second. So we're talking about planning for the future, and a lot of business leaders have a pretty similar process in place. Let's take Woodward over in Machesney Park, Illinois. They have a contract with a client, and it's a multi-year contract that in order to facilitate the need, it might be 3 or 4 years to complete it. Now, businesses understand lead time, that especially things that are higher level manufacturing, and if it has some development in it, they know it's not going to be here next week. There's going to be a few years before the actual product is delivered. So they try to project out as the project goes along to say, initially we're going to have to find 40 different engineers. Later on, we're going to have to find at least 20 different project managers. After that, we're going to have to maybe later. We're going to have to hire 200 project people, like to run the machines and to do the deliveries, that sort of thing. So they reach out to people like the chamber and say, okay, we're going to need in 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, this kind of workers, which in turn, the most logical thing that we've known so far is to reach out to educators and say, hey, let's create some college programs so that when the need is there, we've already identified workers who would be great at this and we've already taught them, so we're ready to go. Rockford, Illinois just finished up a process like this with their advanced airplane maintenance repair overhaul MRO center. And they worked with our local college, Rock Valley College, to say, we're going to need this many students, so get people rolling. However, this is the interesting thing. What we're doing, especially working with job fairs and career connections, is we're getting information from employers based upon the need as we assess through our services. That basically you've got, as we break out our process, as someone takes our test and we show them how it applies, same thing as it relates to the jobs that they're going to be filling. What kind of person is probably going to excel in this? So we've got our knowledge workers, then there's more customer service, they build trust, then there's more of sales or leadership, they cause influence, and then there's the executionary kind of thing for getting it done. And what we've noticed is fascinating. For the more entry-level jobs that are primarily getting things done, it's easy to know that, there's a little bit of influence in there as some of the processes are about the process of selling it, that the presentation of the product, how it's made, does help influence customers to have confidence in that, so there's a little bit of selling leadership in there. Customer service is a little bit less, because as long as they get along with their coworkers, they really don't care. And then knowledge work is, as long as they comprehend what they're doing, there's not much care beyond that. Does that make sense? So we see, as we get some more production level, entry level jobs, especially as far as production goes, the scale kind of slides in this direction. Now, this is the reason that we brought you to the office, even with the poor audio quality, to show you what we're talking about. This behind me is a sample of the different people that come through our door as they take the test. I put their results up on my wall, little thumbnails to kind of remind me it's a solitary existence, that I am actually helping people. Now, this is important because even if I slowly panned around the room, you would see the very thing that I see on a regular basis. That up right now, we got probably close to 600-700 people, and the results up there. To find that slide to the right, to find that fourth column that has that real strong desire for productivity and just a love of getting stuff done, it's difficult. Now, if we were involved in that process of hiring, we'd be able to tell them, look, and this is the interesting thing, we're going to be able to know in the future by graduating class and also the current workforce that is looking for work, we can be able to tell people clearly, let's say you just need someone to paint the airplanes in that place and you need 50 of them. We'll be able to look according to the characteristics that are displayed by the people who take our test and tell you in the area at this, if they've got to be this age and they got to live in this area, we can tell people pretty much, if nobody moves and they stay and only get older, and the people who are, currently looking for jobs don't find one, let's just say, all things being considered, when the product gets ready, when the project is at the place where you need to hire these workers, of the 200, basic baseline workers you're going to need, we can tell them, maybe about 20 of them will be really ideal, that they won't need much management at all, that they'll just love the job and you'll love having them. You might find 50 beyond that are relatively good and will need a little bit of external motivation to really stay on task. But after that, there's about 100 people that if they're not working anywhere else, and you can see the silliness of what I'm saying, that if they're still available and not working anywhere else, there's about 100 people that will be relatively okay, but will need high levels of, well, I suppose you call it babysitting, because when it comes to really misaligned work opportunities, someone's got to make up the motivational gap, and people can only deal with so much. If you're working 20 plus hours a week where you're really just beyond yourself and you're not paying attention, and it's just, as hard as you work, it's just something's not there. Something's going to have to be from the external. Someone's going to have to carrot and stick you. Now, this is trailing off into, what hopefully few of you, but in fact, probably most of you are experiencing on a weekly basis, both on the leadership side and on the employee side. But this is the fascinating thing, that as we get more of you into the Fuel system, as more of you are looking for help with job finding or career coaching, we are going to be able to do some pretty amazing things. Because as manufacturers will be able, manufacturers specifically can reach out to us to say, look, we're about to, propose for this project that we're going to be the ones doing it. We're going to need about 400 of X type workers at Y date. Andrew, in our area, since you're working with schools and you're working with colleges and you're working with even elementary school, or not elementary, middle schools, let's say that it's, 6 years out, and, someone who's a sixth grader will be of working age by that point. Andrew, can we find 400 in order to do this contract? I'll be able to tell you. Because even though we grow, we rarely change. And as many people sit in this office, go over their results, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been this kind of person my entire life. The fascinating thing we're going to be able to add to the workplace pipeline connection is pretty cool, because as a manufacturing side, if you're going to manufacture 2,000 airplane engines, you're going to need a certain amount of steel, a certain amount of copper wiring, a certain amount of circuit boards. Your materials that you're going to need to succeed. But do we have the human resource? Do we have the worker capital to do this? Most likely not naturally, but it's going to set a realistic expectation to say that, if I know that if there's one similar job that's occupied by 100 people, that I'm going to have to prepare our managers that will have probably likely 10 people who love the job, 20 people who are great at it, 10 people who are good at it, and probably about 40 of the people we're going to have to tread pretty lightly with. Now, maybe we can tie their work to compensation and how much they accomplish, but rather than just expecting that everyone's going to be absolutely fantastic, rather than expecting that this will be easy to manage because anybody can do this, we can pretty much prove you wrong. That when it comes to internal motivation, which is one of the most powerful ones, when it comes to how that person sees themselves and naturally wants to center their time around activities that call upon that greatness, we can pretty much tell you the entry-level jobs are not easy. And I'll tell you specifically, since I do this for a living, it's rare that I find someone with over 75% of their worker service makeup as it relates to just getting stuff done. If you want a worker who can spend over 30 hours a week just happily doing things, let me tell you, it's probably a 1 in 400 person. So can we more realistically understand the human capital around us and thereby plan better or create better job descriptions that are more balanced and reticent of the workers that are coming in? The answer is yes, but the hard part is we've got the data. We're more than happy to share it. More than happy to create a better working environment where more people are engaged at their work and loving what they do, but that's what we're here to do. Just thought you guys would find that as fascinating as I did. Sorry it was a 10-minute video, but hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to see what this information means for you and your future career or for your current company, let us know. We're not misers. We're more than happy to share the information, because that'll lead to a happier workplace all around. And a happy workplace is a productive workplace. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.